The midnight gas station. He stood behind the counter. Jim was bored beyond belief. He hated working the night shift, he was always tired and bored. He kept turning to stare at the clock every once in a while. He was waiting for 1 a.m. His co-worker, Jerry, was also meant to get off at 1, however, he felt ill so he went home early. With no one to entertain him, he just waited. At around 10:30, a car pulled up. The driver stepped out and began to move towards the entrance to the gas station. He looked slightly drunk. He picked up a bag of chips and a soda and then he walked to the counter. "Just this please," he said. "No problem," said Jim. The man paid the $5 he owed and then left. His car drove slowly out of the space he parked in. The vehicle vanished into the night. Jim sat down. He wanted to leave, just forget the customers and go home, but he couldn't. Leave now and he'd be fired. He lowered his head down and slept. Then it got weird. At 11:25 a woman bolted through the door. She woke Jim from his slumber. She looked panicked. She looked around and saw Jim. She walked over while constantly checking the windows. Hello? Can you please call the police?" Jim rubbed his eyes. "I'm sorry, phone's busted. It had been vandalized by a drunkard the previous night." Well, can I at least stay here for a bit?" She was on the verge of tears. "Why, what is happening?" "Someone, or something, has been following me for ages. My car stalled down the road. That's when I saw it. It looked like me. I'm not bullshitting, I swear." Jim looked worried now. She stared outside. She began to cry. Before he could comfort her, she was gone. The automatic door shut. Jim felt scared about this encounter. But what could he do now? Call the police? No, of course not. He kept waiting. Then it got really weird. At midnight exactly something came through the door. Jim was asleep once again. It tapped him on the shoulder. He looked up. It was, not, the woman from earlier. She grinned maniacally, its eyes were morose. Normal yet able to look in impossible directions. Jim woke. Before he could speak, it stopped him with its voices. It sounded like 5 people speaking in unison. Yet disjointed and choppy. US on OTHing. Go to SL, Eep. Jim's lip quivered as it ejected itself out the door and slinked into the darkness. Safe to say he never worked the night shift again.